we need to take that grand opening and make it the grandest grand opening. So we're going to show you all the steps you need. And for those of you who are already opened or reopening, we're going to show you some really cool things that you can go do and get it started. You've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours, thousands of dollars, and now you're rushing to get those doors open so you can create millions and millions of smiles. This is your biggest time to celebrate. And so often I will talk to an owner and say, so what are you doing for your grand opening? And they'll say to me, we're doing a ribbon cutting. And I will say, and they said, and a ribbon cutting. We'll have the mayor, we'll have a couple of other people. Your grand opening's gotta be more than just cutting a ribbon. Anybody could go put a ribbon up and cut that ribbon and say, we're open. You need to make this your kickoff, your energizer. You want every single person talking about it. It will be the talk of the town. You've got to be buzzworthy. You've got to have awesome Instagrammable moments. Picture opportunities, photos, making sure, I think Jerry said it, that if you are going to do those photos, or Bob may have said it, have that hashtag. Let people know what you want them to do. Invite not just your friends and family, but invite bloggers. Bob was just talking about influencers. Influencers are awesome. They already have a built-in audience. So is your group going to invite influencers? And what are you inviting them to? The best party in town. Do you know any celebrities? Everybody knows somebody. Google in your town. Biggest sports person. So we're in the New York, New Jersey area. There are tons of football players. There are tons of celebrities that grew up here. No, I'm not going to get Springsteen necessarily to play. Maybe he would. But what can you do to get that excitement? Your job is to create that wow. What would you do if you were going to host the grandest grand opening and you had an unlimited budget? So I want you to put in the chat right now, what one thing would you want to have at your either grand reopening or grandest grand opening that's cool, that's different? And I'm going to have Jackie unmute herself and tell me if anybody's put in a really fun idea. Is this going to be like yesterday where I have to bribe them with a gift? We'll see. I think Bob showed a really cool video that had a drone. That would be a really cool idea. So for one of my clients, I said to him, while the answers are coming in the chat, what if we could get a couple of drones to fly over every night with really cool lights and get people who are driving by to say, what is that? What's happening over there? Well, I didn't realize how many permits we had to pull in order to get the drones. So note to self and note to all of you, if you're going to do a drone event, you might have a drone club in your area. Call them, reach out, see what they can do to have your activities even more fun. Make sure that you're not just planning to open your doors and say, okay, come jump or come play laser tag. Make sure that you have prizes and contests and make it that wow moment. So here's an example of a trampoline park that opened up, and Jackie, I'm so sorry, I did not hit the timer, so you're gonna have to give me a warning, that opened up their second location. Huge advantage when you are a former NFL player. They can get their cheerleaders, their mascots, but notice that they had the local TV show up to take pictures. They had celebrities. They did all the right things to make this the grandest grand opening. We had balloon, not twist, not just basic, twist a balloon like I would, but balloon sculpture people. They had face painting people. They did the most amazing balloon drop. Okay, I get credit for balloon drops. I love them. Things that people were going to leave and talk about. So imagine that you were planning your wedding. Kevin is going to be planning a wedding. So Kevin, when you're planning that wedding, every single detail has to be perfect. because you only get one wedding. Well, one first wedding at least. We're not sure if you have many more, but it's the same thing for your grandest grand opening. You never get a second chance at that grand opening. I tell people all the time when they say, what day should we do our grand opening? And the answer is not until you've had a soft opening. Work out all the little kinks. Find out which bathroom's gonna not work the day of the event. Find out where you have to put extra staff because you didn't realize that there was a little skid zone. So think about all the little details that you need. Contact your community partners. Reach out to everyone in the community. These are from 3 different events that we did where we had the fire truck come in. All kids, for some reason, love to touch the truck. They had the SWAT truck come in for the laser tag competition. They had the police officers with their motorbikes, and we had the ambulance. And what we decided to do was to make it a tournament. So for the one location, it was a dodgeball tournament. For another location, it was a miniature golf tournament. You could not imagine all the smack talk that was going down between the firemen and the police, and in the other location between police and SWAT. Wow, talk about fierce competition. And when all was said and done, they were just going for bragging rights. But then this turned into an annual event. So look at all the different things you can do to make this fun and engaging. We want to make sure as you're planning this, and this is the tough part, because you've spent thousands of dollars on the engineer, the architect who did a great job, on all the equipment, but did you leave enough money for your budget? You need your food, you need your entertainment, and you need something that's going to be your wow. Who are you going to have plan the food? If this is your first venture and you don't have my friend from Perky's helping you out, you may want to actually consider having a caterer come in and help you with some of the logistics. So just a little thing to make it extra special. We want to make sure as you do this grand opening that you have specific goals, because most people will just rush through and get that grand opening going. And we say, whoa, you should be using that to kick off your sales. So what are your KPIs, your key performance indicators that you want to have? Is your goal for your showcase primary event to have 250 people attend? Is your goal to generate revenue? That we want to, during that opening weekend, we know that everybody must book 2 corporate events. We want to book 10 birthday parties. I put in the record that we had for last year, pre-COVID, of course. The record sales for an opening weekend for birthday parties was $22,000. That more than covered the cost of their grand opening party, I can tell you that. Can you top that? Are you going to have a membership program? Are you going to have an unlimited pass? What are you going to sell? Can you have combo offers and say to your staff when they come up to the food and beverage section, instead of just selling them that pizza, can you say, oh, we have a special, you get 2 extra unlimited refill water bottles that you take home and fill them at your house because we don't want you touching our things. Thank you, COVID. So think about all the different ways that you can make sure that your event is a success. So the 2 successes, in my opinion, are having at least, depending on the size of your property, 250 people, and having revenue goals that you're going to generate more sales than just the walk-in traffic. Use your little emotion on the little bottom section and put a high five or an applaud next to your name so that we know that you like that idea. And if you didn't like that idea, we're just going to keep going until you have to make more money. I see a couple of motions, so thank you, thank you. So getting ready for that grand opening, it's all about the little details. And when we say little details, everything from one facility ran out of toilet paper. Another place forgot that they had to schedule their staff to come in early for that kickoff, motivating time. You need to communicate. You need all the logistics working. You need checks and balances and little Post-it notes if you have to. If you have a very limited parking area, you need to make sure that you have auxiliary parking. You don't want people driving around and leaving and saying, oh, we couldn't get into that super cool party. So we want you to think big, but we also want to make sure that you take care of all the little details. For grandest grand openings, I loved that. I'm a big fan of ice sculptures because people all take pictures of those. It's not that expensive. You can go online and have a very simple one delivered. Before you even kick into your big event, what have you done to prime that pump? What have you done to start getting the community excited? Did you do VIP tours? Did you invite people in and make sure you have your CO? Do not have people in and then get in trouble, but make sure, certificate of occupancy, make sure that you're inviting small groups of people to come in and tour your location. Have a media happy hour where you invite any and every media, not just traditional, not just the newspaper, not just the radio station. Invite those influencers. Invite those mommy bloggers. If you raise your hand and tell me that you all know what a mommy blogger is, that would be awesome. I need to see all hands go up that you know who those mommy bloggers are. Those are the women who are sitting at home who have a huge network of people that they advise on. People will call and say, hey, I'm looking for a babysitter. And they'll say, here are the 5 best sitters I've ever used. So tap into those. Our favorite thing from our personal property was to always have a charity tied to an event. For many, many reasons. Number one, it made us a great community partner. Number two, we were giving back to the community. And it's a give and take. So it's a win-win. They won because we gave a portion, like Bob said, of the proceeds to the charity. We won because the charity was spreading the word to everybody. Hey, we have 25 VIP passes for the grand opening. Contact us or make a $5 donation or however they wanted to do it. And the unsung heroes besides your, now with COVID, the hospital workers, the fire and the ambulance, but people forget about thanking their vendors, thanking the people who got them there. From your plumber and your electrician to your architect, have them celebrate in your big moment. Best advice I can tell you after doing many of these is you need a countdown calendar. I would love to have you start 120 days out, making sure that first we set up our invitations, then we put out our budget, and just goes through a checklist of things to do. The crunch time absolutely comes in those last 30 days. That's where you said, what happened to that balloon that I ordered? What happened to this? Sometimes with shipping these days, things are delayed. So make sure you leave yourself enough cushion room. We talked about influencers, and Bob talked about it a lot with his marketing. I'd like to identify several other influencers. I've mentioned mommy bloggers, key vendors, media, celebrities, but think about your community. Who are the key influencers there? The director of Parks and Rec, they know thousands of people. The mayor's office, the PTA, the PTO. You want to make sure that the Convention Visitors Bureau, all of those people know that this is an event and they were given one of the Wonka golden tickets. We want to make sure that you go to the schools and tap into their leaders. Even if the schools were virtual at the time, they can come in on a virtual session and see all that's happening. We talk about captains and presidents. Captain of the football team, the hockey team, the underwater hockey team, the rugby team, the president of the freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or if you're gearing to younger kids, are you tapping into some of their school people that are really influential? And of course, we never want to forget those mommy bloggers. I wish they were daddy bloggers. We want you to make your facility so festival. And this is one of my favorite products because it's a balloon arch. And for those of you who are already in the industry, number one, they're really hard to make. And number two, there's a major shortage of helium. The balloon arch that you're looking at right now has no helium in it. It's all inflated with just air. So you want to sit there and say, how can I do this affordably and make sure that they don't forget to deliver the helium because they're out? So fun, simple things. Using centerpieces. Now, this was pre-COVID, so I would not have this many people at one table, but make sure that you set that stage so that everything looks amazing, that anybody coming in could envision hosting a party with you, knowing that they could come and you'll take care of every detail. So this is also a great opportunity to showcase. Now, no, I did not have my team try and create those beautiful lollipop appetizers, but we wanted to upscale and make sure people knew that we could do more than just pizza and burgers if they needed an upscale event. But more important than just showcasing our amazing food and beverage, we showcase our talent, our staff. I think one of the proudest moments was when we were doing a grand opening and the owner kept pointing and pointing and pointing. So I'm thinking, he needs me to come over, something's wrong. He was standing there talking to a woman for about 15 minutes. And when the pointing started, I went over to say, what happened? What broke? What do we need to fix? And he said, this woman would like to talk to you. I said, what can we do to help you today? She told me she had been to 4 trampoline parks over the last 3 weeks with her kids, and they were all good. There was nothing wrong with them. They had similar attractions. They had different things. She said, but I don't understand. Yours has the most amazing staff, that your kids are stopping and high-fiving my kids. My kids have been asked their names 3 times. They played a trivia game with them. She said, it wasn't that the attractions were that much different, but what was really so amazing was your team made us feel like we were the only guest in the park. They made my kids feel so special that this will now be the only trampoline park we go to visit. How do you think that owner felt? Can I get a thumbs up on that one? That was kind of a really, really good one. So you're showcasing your food and beverage, your talent, your team, plus the attractions. We admitted that we cheated, and we had a caterer do these really super cool little BLTs and little mini salads and things on a stick, but it was all to create that image. I will tell you, this was right around fall. If I were putting out a veggie tray, I'm not sure mine would look quite that beautiful, but for the one park, their vegetable platter looked exactly like a trampoline park. That the beds of the trampoline were the eggplant, that there was celery dividing it. So it just, people were coming over and just taking pictures of that and posting it. So that was just taking a simple thing and making an Instagrammable moment. How are you going to take your park and really do something cool and different? So Jackie, if you can check the chat box for when they were looking at creative different ideas, I would love to know what people were saying. I still have Jackie there.
I am here.
So if they could spend unlimited dollars on one thing, what's the one thing that they would spend it on?
All right, attendees, let's hear it.
Oh, Jerry, we might have to offer a prize.
Oh, a prize, Sheryl?
Another prize. By the way, all the prizes went out yesterday, so people will start getting those.
Fantastic news.
I know we've got really.
You're very good with prizes. I know that.
I love prizes. I like to give everybody prizes.
Well, bear with us. Let's see.
I will. I know Bob Kraus must have a really cool thing that he's tried that he wants to share.
Why don't you repeat it one more time so people can really hear it?
Okay, so here's my challenge to everybody. In the chat box, or we can even unmute you if we want to get bold and daring, please put in, if you had unlimited money and an unlimited budget, what one thing would you try and do for your grandest grand opening that would have people say, wow?
Sheryl, we've got our first response.
Okay,
Ready?
Who's the first responder? I mean, first response.
Our first responder is Russ Van Natta.
Oh, I love Russ. What did he have?
He's got staff training with an exclamation point.
Absolutely staff training. No train, no gain. And that's a great point, Russ. Every time we do a grandest grand opening, we do a pep rally in the morning. We do a pep rally in the afternoon. And we psych the kids up and we tell them this is an important day. And we also tell them the why. Why are we going above and beyond every single day? And why are we going to make every kid feel so awesome and great? So Russ, since you gave us that one, what cool idea would you do in terms of an activity or something really different? And it's not a dunk tank with Sheryl. That one I rule out every time.
Okay.
That does not count.
While Russ is thinking of that one, I'm going to share a couple other ones with you.
Okay, perfect.
Bob Gardner has suggested a DJ.
Absolutely.
Right? A huge fireworks display.
Ooh, wait, who said fireworks?
Ran.
Yes, Rand.
Wait,
Right.
Rand, Mr. Safety Insurance?
Mm-hmm.
I
From
just want to
State
make
Park,
sure.
yes.
Is there...
Joe Smith suggests multiple customer ambassadors.
Ah, those are great.
Our
Love
friends at
those.
United Play, interactive events and challenges with staff and kids.
Interactive, that I love it. Bob, was that from Bob?
It most likely from Bob.
Okay. I wasn't sure who came from, but
Or maybe Chris.
interactivity. Getting-
Actually, mine was to bring in a motivational speaker to all the employees. Get
Okay,
them pumped
Bob,
up for day one.
Let me know the date so I can book it on my calendar.
And then Ariana Grande for the opening act before the park opens.
Oh, that should be
Awesome.
easy.
That would be an easy one. Don't laugh. If you reach out to your community connections and if you call any and everybody and you say to your new team, you don't know, somebody's father might be an NFL player. Somebody's mother might be like a backup singer for someone. You never know who's in your little network. And even putting that challenge out and saying to the staff, hey, who do you know? And here's what we did as a backup when we could not get a famous, I don't even want to tell you who we tried to get. We reached for the stars, and unfortunately they were touring and they were in Europe, and I couldn't understand. Europe, FEC opening. Okay.
Sheryl, we have a couple more.
Oh, okay. Tell me the couple more and then I'll come back to it.
Bill says street performers to make it a carnival.
Awesome.
And Chris says, I'd love to have a big party for all the frontline workers and everything would be free for them and fireworks.
Love it.
Casey adds characters, stormtroopers, and princesses.
Ah, love the stormtroopers, especially the ones that have the digital bellies. Have you seen that? Do you know what a digital, like where your stomach is? It's a digital sign and it does messages. You're all looking
No,
at me.
we're really curious now. I'm sure
Okay,
it's
I'm
fun.
gonna have to find a picture to share with you, but they had it at IAPA 2 years ago.
As long as it's rated G, it'll be fine for this
It's
event.
definitely rated PG or G or yes.
Tim Howell says free pizza.
What a great idea that is.
Only if it's the breakfast pizza, Jim Hal.
Chad offers up celebrities.
Ah, so if you can't get a celebrity, you can do some of the imposters, the celebrity lookalikes.
Mm-hmm.
So one park wanted to have President Obama, and he was not available. I don't understand why. But they had a lookalike, and the lookalike came with 5 security details, all in black, and they were like, the president is moving forward. Please advance to the trampoline section. And and they walked with that bolt. So you can, and people were taking nonstop pictures. And that's what you want. You want them to have that fun, that picture. They want them to think they saw a celebrity, even if they didn't see that celebrity. When we were talking about, are there a couple more or?
Yes, Richard offers up Tom Hanks.
Oh, right. Let's post his number in the box and see if we get
I
all.
think it'll go fine.
We'll go fine. But we had a DJ because that was awesome and fun. But we made sure that the DJ we selected was the most popular DJ in town. That everybody fought to get that DJ for their event. The other thing that we tried, and this you need a lot more planning and a little bit more space, is we did a battle of the bands. So we went to the high school and said, we want the top 4 bands that, you know, usually play and do all these different things. We had them put their video up on the Facebook website and see which band had the most following and most likes. And that was the first band that got to play at the grand opening. And then the second, then the third, then the fourth. But it was involving the community in such a fun way that everybody felt like they were part of it. So those are great ideas, and everything that was suggested is absolutely doable. I will tell you from the fireworks perspective, we have priced them out and we did it at one place. If you're doing your grand opening near July 4th, it's gonna cost you quadruple. If you do it on an off week that they're not busy, it's not as bad as you think. And it is a ta-da. We've tried getting the Goodyear blimp. We tried, people that are not from the Jersey Shore may not get used to this, but they have airplanes that pull banners across. So there are all sorts of things that you can do.
Well, Sheryl, we've got a couple of others that are actually quite interesting.
Okay.
Bailey offers up a photo station to help them remember the event and a reminder to return.
Love it.
And Dave Wilson suggested a tethered hot air balloon launch.
Ah, love it.
With mascot and owners on board.
Okay, so we can definitely not improve on our event, but add that to the event. And Princeton University every year has a tethered balloon that you can go up about 30 feet and then down. If it goes much higher, I don't think I would have been going on that.
We also have a cautionary word from Safe Park to not place the hot air balloon too close to the fireworks.
Not too close to the fireworks and definitely not close to high tension lines, right? Those are two that are definitely not part of it. So making it even more fun and exciting, everybody loves a candy bar. Your staff will love putting this together, and at the end, each person gets a little bag. And now we're going to do it slightly different. Thanks to COVID, everything will be pre-wrapped and in cello and with individual tongs. So we've got that covered. But just fun little miniature things made people take pictures. And then there's the good old fashioned, hey, if we can do pizza, we can do wraps. We can do anything to make it entertaining. At this point, I will ask if there are any questions. No.
Sheryl,
Awesome.
we have one, and this is an interesting one. Have you seen anything that has failed miserably as an observer?
Okay, I could do a whole session just on what has failed miserably. Let's start with a simple failure. I gave directions, and I'm really pretty good, I think, at giving directions on how to do a balloon drop. I pre-approved with the owner how many free go-kart rides, how many free ice creams, how many free, we had it on little slips of paper. We showed them how to roll it and put it into the little balloon. And I said, you're going to use the air pump, inflate it. They forgot to put the little slips of paper into the balloons for the balloon drop. Everybody's stomping on it. They're like, I didn't win. I'm like, that's impossible. Every balloon was a winner. So the kid looked at me who put it together, and the two boys said, oh, we said put it inside, but we didn't know you, they just didn't know what to say. So that was one. We have had people have this really cool make your own sundae, and their employee was mopping the floor where all the ice cream is, unplugged the ice cream freezer, mopped around it, and then left. And when they got in the morning, it was soup. We've had a mascot that was a rental mascot take their head off because they got too hot and kids were screaming. We had, should I keep going, or because I think I'm giving you the soft, easy ones.
Yeah. Well, I think that actually frames the picture, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's all good. But the most important thing is to have fun. Do something cool, do something different. I was devastated when Lady Gaga stole my idea of all the light up drones. I think her budget was larger than mine, but it's all good. Go out, delegate, get virtual assistants, get a real assistant. Make sure you have a support team for that day, because that will really make your event so much easier and so much better. Okay, I turn it back and I made it on our time frame for Jackie and Jerry.
Thank you very much, Sheryl.